Hey there everyone, welcome to Sourav Sir Classes, and let us continue solving section C of Indian Economic Service 2024 Indian Economics paper. Yes. So question number 11 is give an account of recent trends in agricultural growth rates in India. Critically evaluate government initiatives for promoting sustainable agricultural development. So for this you have to first write down an introduction. In introduction you can introduce some points like the trends in agricultural growth rates, etc., right? So you can say that we all of us know that what recent trends in agricultural growth rates in India shows a mixed picture, right? Over the past decade the sector has somewhat experienced moderate growth, we can say, and with an average annual growth rate of around 3 to 4%, right? So despite facing challenges such as fluctuating monsoon patterns, limited technological adoptions, fragmented land holdings, the sector remains crucial, contributing about 17 to 18% to the GDP and employing nearly half of the workforce. Now, recent years have seen what somewhat significant efforts to enhance productivity and sustainability in the agriculture. So, key trends include what? Increased adoption of modern agricultural practices, greater use of high-yielding variety seeds, expansion of irrigation infrastructure, and growing emphasis on organic farming, right? Also, AI-based solutions for weather forecasting and pest control are also gaining traction. So now let's talk about Indian government has launched several initiatives to promote sustainable agricultural development, like Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, right? So this scheme aims to expand irrigation coverage and improve water use efficiency. So it has helped the bringing more agricultural land under assured irrigation. Soil health card scheme. So it introduced the assess the nutrient status of soil and provide recommendations to farmers for balanced use of fertilizers. So this initiative aims to enhance soil health and productivity. Then there is Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Now this program promotes organic farming through the adoption of traditional prices, thereby reducing the dependency on chemical inputs and improving sustainability. Now Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, National Mission for Sustainable Agriculture are some other schemes launched by the government among the different schemes we have just discussed. So while these initiatives show promise that their impact has been uneven, so challenges such as slow pace of implementation, inadequate infrastructure, lack of awareness among farmers, and limited access to credit and markets hinder their effectiveness. So moreover, the fragmented nature of landholding makes it difficult to achieve economies of scale and widespread adoption of modern practices. So in conclusion, while government initiatives have laid strong foundations, we can say, for sustainable agricultural development, concerted efforts to address systematic issues, enhance implementation efficiency, and improve farmer education and empowerment are essential for realizing their full potential. Okay, so these are the points that you have to mention. Let's have a look at question number 12. The Startup India initiative aims at fostering entrepreneurship and promoting innovations by creating an ecosystem conducive to growth in India. Elucidate. Okay. So let's talk about the Startup India initiative then. So it was launched by the government of India when in 2016 January. Okay. So the flagship program designed by to catalyze the startup ecosystem in the country. So this initiative aims to nurture entrepreneurship and drive innovation by creating an enabling environment for startups to flourish. So what are the objectives and features of this? First of all, simplified regulations, funding support, right? The initiative facilitates what access of funding through a fund of funds for startups. So with a corpus of rupees 10,000 crore managed by Small Industries Development Bank of India, SIDBI. So this fund acts as a catalyst in mobilizing investment into startups through alternate investment funds. Other than that, what are the other objectives and features? Tax benefits, incubation and industry academia partnerships. What is it? The initiative encourages the establishment of startup incubators and it promotes collaboration between industry and academic institutions. So this linkage facilitates knowledge transfer, skill development and creation of a robust innovation ecosystem. So let's talk about the impact. So since its inception, Startup India has had a significant impact on the Indian startup ecosystem. It has fostered a culture of entrepreneurship with thousands of startups being registered and numerous innovative solutions being developed across various sectors, including technology, healthcare and education. Now the initiative has also led to increased job creation, contributing to economic growth, and positioning India as a global startup hub. So in summary, we can say that the Startup India initiative is a comprehensive effort to bolster the startup ecosystem by providing financial support. Okay. Next, moving on to question number 30. Discuss the consequence of inflation targeting monetary policy in India. Describe the role of the Reserve Bank of India in ensuring financial stability. Okay, interesting question. So first of all, let us discuss about the inflation targeting monetary policy. Now, what are the inflation targeting monetary policy used by central banks for maintaining prices? So India adopted an inflation targeting framework in 2016 with the RBI setting an inflation target of 4% with a tolerance band of 2% on either side. Okay. So what is the consequence of this? Price stability. Inflation targeting has helped in maintaining price stability. By focusing on controlling inflation, RBI has provided a predictable economic environment which is essential for sustainable economic growth. Reduced inflation volatility. The commitment to an inflation target has reduced inflation volatility. So this has enhanced the confidence of investors and consumers in the economy, promoting investment and consumption. Anchored inflation expectations. Policy transparency and accountability, economic trade-offs. Okay, so these are all the impacts of the, or let's say consequences of it. Now, what is the role of Reserve Bank in ensuring financial stability? So there are few functions. Number one, regulation and supervision. The RBI regulates and supervises bank and non-banking financial companies to ensure their soundness and stability. It conducts regular inspections and audits to maintain the health of financial sector. Monetary policy, if we talk about it, then by implementing monetary policy, the RBI controls inflation and manages economic growth. So inflation targeting is a key component of this strategy. Liquidity management, financial market development, crisis management, these are all some of the important functions of the RBI in maintaining financial stability. So these are the points that are important for you to mention while answering this question. Moving on to question number 40. Do you think that the imposition of GST has led to enhanced tax collection for the center and state? Has it reduced incidence of taxation on common people? Substantiate your answer. So the implementation of the goods and service taxes in India has led to what? Enhanced tax collection for both the center and the state, while also impacting the incidence of taxation on common people in varying degree. So let's talk about the enhanced tax collection part. Okay. So GST has significantly improved tax compliance and broadened the tax base. So by integrating numerous state and central taxes into a single tax system, GST has streamlined tax administration and reduced tax evasion. So according to the Ministry of Finance, GST collections have shown a consistent year-on-year increase since its implementation in July 2017. So for instance, monthly GST revenue crossed, let's say, 1 trillion mark consistently, reflecting a healthier tax collection system. So this can be attributed to the reduction in the cascading effect of taxes, which has made business more transparent and compliant. Now, let's talk about reduction in tax incidence. So for the common people, the impact of GST on tax incidence has been mixed. GST aimed to reduce the overall tax burden, okay, by eliminating what? The cascading effect of multiple indirect taxes and standardizing the tax rates across the country. Now, the essential items such as food, grains, milk and other necessities are either exempted or taxed at lower rates, which helps in reducing what? The tax burden on lower income groups. However, the incidence of taxation on certain goods and services has increased due to higher GST rates compared to the pre-GST era. For example, let me say, services that were previously taxed at 15% under service tax are now subjected to an 18% GST rate. Okay. So what are the substantiation of this? Increased revenue, reduced cascading effect and tax rate rationalization. Yes, the GST Council has periodically revised rates to ensure the burden on common people is minimized, exemplifying its intent to balance revenue needs with public welfare. So in conclusion, while GST has enhanced tax collection for the center and state, its impact on the common people's tax incidence is more nuanced, right? Reflecting both reductions and increases depending on the specific goods and services consumed. Next question, number 15. Describe the concept and significance of digitalization. Critically examine the impact of Digital India program on Indian economy in recent years. So digitalization refers to the transformation of analog information into digital formats that can be processed, stored and transmitted using digital technology. Okay, this shift has profound implication on various sectors including what? Economic, governance, education, healthcare and more. So what are the key aspects of digitalization? So it includes efficiency and productivity. Okay, so digitalization streamlines process, reduces manual intervention and improves efficiency. So it enables faster communication, data processing and decision making, access and inclusivity, and innovation and growth, governance and transparency. So these are all the key aspects of digitalization. Now, what is the impact of Digital India program on Indian economy? Let us discuss. So first of all, you have to mention when this was launched. It was launched in 2015, and the aim of this program was to transfer India into a digitally empowered society and knowledge economy. So its impact on the Indian economy in recent years can be assessed by the following points that I am going to discuss with all of you. What are the points? Economic growth. Digital initiatives have contributed to GDP growth by enhancing productivity, promoting e-commerce and boosting digital payments. Job creation. Digital ecosystem has created employment opportunities in sectors such as IT services, e-commerce, digital marketing and app development. It has also spurred entrepreneurship and innovation. Third is financial inclusion, e-governance. Yes, digital platforms like e-governance portals, digital lockers, online services have streamlined government processes, reduced bureaucracy and enhanced transparency. Now challenges and inequalities are like, despite the progress, challenges remain, including digital literacy barriers, cyber security threats and the digital divide between urban and rural populations. Now, inequalities in access to digital infrastructure and skills need addressing to ensure inclusive growth. So, in conclusion, we can say that the Digital India program has catalyzed digitalization across sectors, contributing positively to economic growth, job creation, and governance efficiency. However, addressing challenges such as digital literacy and infrastructure gap is crucial to maximizing its benefit and ensuring inclusive development. Last question is our 16th question. It reads, discuss the recent trends in India's balance of payment, bring out the factors responsible for current account deficit in India's balance of payments in recent years. So first of all, India's balance of payment has been characterized by several noteworthy trends and challenges, particularly concerning the current account deficit. So the current account of India's BOP tracks what? The inflow and outflow of goods, service, income, current transfers with the rest of the world. Now let's talk about the trends. So first of all, if we talk about current account deficit, then India has experienced a persistent CAD in its BOP with fluctuations, of course. So the CAD widened significantly in the early 2010s but narrowed slightly in subsequent years, primarily due to varying trends in trade balance, remittances and income from services. Now if we are talking about trade balance, then India has been a net importer of goods, especially crude oil and gold. So high oil prices combined with India's energy needs have contributed significantly to the trade deficit. If we talk about the service sector, then India's service sector, particularly IT and IT-enabled services, has been significant contributor to export earnings. However, the growth in these service exporters are not so even. So it is influenced by economic conditions globally. So therefore, there are changes in demand for outsourcing services. Capital flows, if we talk about capital flows, then India has seen robust capital inflows in the form of what? FDI, FIIs, right? So these inflows have supported BOP by financing the current account deficit and bolstering the foreign exchange reserves somewhat. Okay. Now let us discuss the factors that are actually responsible for current account deficit. First of all, it is the import dependence. India's reliance on imports, particularly on essential commodities like oil, has strained the current account. Export structure, India excel in service export, manufacturing sector exports performance has been mixed. So challenges such as infrastructure bottlenecks, regulatory issues, global competition hinder export growth in sectors beyond services. So domestic consumption, global economic conditions and policy measures, that is the government policies related to trade tariffs, foreign exchange management and investment regulations play a very crucial role in shaping the BOP outcomes. So while India's BOP shown resilience with significant capital inflows and steady remittances, Challenges like persistent trade deficits and structural issues in exports necessitate ongoing policy reforms. So addressing these challenges requires what? Enhancing the export competitiveness, reducing import dependence, and of course promoting sustainable economic growth. Then only we can achieve a more balanced VOP in the long term. So these are the important points that you should mention for this particular